Welcome back, troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. Today, November 5th, Fender has finally replaced the American Elite Series lineup with something called the American Ultra Series. So despite it not being a Fender Friday, let's go ahead and talk about the differences between the new Ultra versus the old Elite. So here were the old Elites. You had a Stratocaster, you had a Telecaster, and you had a thin line Telecaster. And you also had a left-handed Strat in the lineup, as well as 3 basses, a Jazz, a Precision, and a 5-string Jazz. What they've done is they've taken away the option for a thin line, and controversially took away the option of a left-handed guitar, at least for now. But they replaced them with a Jazzmaster in the lineup, which I'm personally really digging, and they introduced a Stratocaster with a humbucker in the bridge, which I think really fits in with this high-end, ultra-modern thing that they're going for. So we've got some new models. What else has changed? Let's talk about things that you're actually going to feel. The fretboard radius on these used to go from a 9.5 to 14 inch, but the new Ultras are slightly different with a 10 to 14 inch compound radius. That might not sound like a huge change, but something else that they've done is notice a modern D-shaped neck. The old one started as a modern C towards the nut and then slowly went into the modern D shape. So these new ones will be a little bit more uniformed in feel. But speaking of feel, take a look at the neck joint here. You still have this contoured heel joint right here, but look what they've changed. You have additional comfort cuts in this area to help make it easier to play higher up in the fret registers. But notice it's not just this one, they've also kind of slightly sculpted it right here as well. In comparison to the old Elites, these things now look old, clunky, and outdated. So that is a really cool feature that I'm excited for. But now moving on to more cosmetic things, the old ones had the truss rod adjustment right here. If we really zoom in, it was a little wheel that you could adjust the dual action truss rod with. A lot of people loved the way that these things functioned, but yeah, they look a little bit goofy down there. So they've now gone back to tradition and they moved it back to the face of the headstock. This way, it's still easy to adjust if you need to. You don't have to take the neck off and do all that stuff just to get to the bottom. But also take a look at the finish on the neck. You see how this one is much darker now? The old series kind of had that brand new maple look to it. So if you're a fan of a vintage looking Stratocaster, that might be another change that you really enjoy. Also notice the return of the skunk stripe. Another thing that's changed is ebony is no longer available on these. They've switched them back to rosewood because the sight's restrictions are coming to an end. That's definitely a plus for purists, but you know, ebony fretboard on a Stratocaster, that's kind of cool to me. Though most of them were pretty streaky looking. Tonality-wise, they're featuring the next generation noiseless electronics. So these old guys were also noiseless, but these are like the next best thing. If you want to hear a nice comparison between the two, I would suggest checking out the Andertons video. You could definitely hear that the newer guitars were much brighter and clearer sounding as compared to the old Elites. But I think that kind of depends on what style you're looking to play. And the S1 switch was simplified on some of these. As far as price goes, it depends what model you're interested in, but they range from $1,900 to $2,200, which is slightly up from the Elite series. So if you can't remember anything else, the biggest difference here is the additional contours to the back of the heel joint. But a lot of the other stuff, such as the locking tuners and just being a really nice high-end American-made instrument, they all stay the same. But now let's go ahead and take a look at these instruments and their colors. The American Ultra Stratocaster is being offered in 10 different iterations, with 7 different colors, 3 of them having different fretboard options. The HSS version has slightly less iterations, with 6 different colors and 7 different options total. The Ultra Telecaster has a similar thing going on here, with 7 different colors and 8 different options in total. You have 4 total options with the Jazzmaster, but I just want to take a second to talk about these Jazzmasters. I absolutely adore the Mocha Burst. Most of these finishes are slightly metallic, and this is clearly just a ripoff of Gibson's Gold Burst, but I love that finish. They didn't use it enough. You might as well put it on a Fender, right? But this is a thing of beauty, and it's pretty much the only standout finish to me. I only wish they also would have done that one with the Texas T, which is basically just a fancy way of saying an oil finish. The Ultra P bass is offered in 5 different iterations. I like how these guys have a 5 bolt-on neck, that's interesting, and these are powered by 2 9-volt batteries. The Ultra Jazz bass is also offered in 5 different iterations. The Texas T looks really sweet on this one with the anodized gold pickguard and the maple fretboard. Wow. I'm not a bass player, but I could be for that one. That thing works. Then just like the 4-string version, the Jazz 5 is also offered in 5 different options. So overall, this new lineup is cool, but I'm a little bit underwhelmed by it. Fender was really hyping this up the past couple of days, and then what was ultimately released, I mean, it's cool. There's a few good things, namely the Goldburst Jazzmaster, the Texas T Stratocaster, and the jazz bass that we were talking about for me personally. And I paid into the hype and I bought 2 of them today, so we'll see a couple reviews from this series. But it's nice to see them keep innovating. A lot of people wanted to see stainless steel frets. That would have been really interesting. There were a few other people also looking for Floyd roses and taking away pick guards and stuff, and that might be a little bit too crazy for Fender, but you never know, they might listen to you guys eventually. To end this video, let's go ahead and listen to a few brief sound samples from Fender. So what was your favorite new model and finish released today? You can let me know down in the comment section, and we will see you tomorrow on the next episode. Take care.